Hey everyone, my name is Nicholas Nottage, and I'm a junior here at UNC Chapel Hill, and I'm here to talk to you about Operation Smile's UNC chapter today. So first up, congratulations on getting in. I know you're all going to do amazing things here at UNC, and I can't wait to see them. Uh, to start, I'm going to start with a little activity. If you don't mind closing your eyes, just listening. So imagine the face of a child. Imagine that child with a deformity on his or her lip. Imagine that child with a hole in the roof of his or her mouth. That makes it very difficult for them to speak or even eat. Imagine that child being so ridiculed by his or her peers that the child will not go to school or even out in public. Imagine that child thinking that he or she will never be able to grow up, get married, or have a family. Imagine never being able to receive your first kiss. Now imagine if that child were you. That's something we always start with to kind of put us in the mindset of why we do what we do. So moving on, I'd like to share a little presentation about Operation Smile and what it is we do. So spoilers. All right, so I'm going to start with a little overview because I know everyone's busy and I could talk about this all day long, but got to keep it short, to the point. So we're going to start with defining what is a cleft. Then we're going to talk about a little bit about Operation Smile at the organizational level, and then move into specifically what the chapter here at UNC does. So first up is, what is a cleft? Right here on the left is a child that I met on one of my experiences with Operation Smile in India. And as you can see, he has a unilateral cleft lip. So that means when the lip is forming in development, the two ends start out separate and they come together and they meet up. But in children who have a cleft lip or later cleft palate, they don't meet properly. They stop like here. This you do to any number of reasons. So a unilateral cleft lip is it doesn't meet on one side, whereas a bilateral cleft lip is that it doesn't meet on either side. So on the right here, you can see Aztec, another child I met in India, how he has two clefts. So next is the cleft palate. It's a little harder to get pictures of these, so I have to use one of my friends. Same logic where in development, the two tissues don't fuse properly, and so you're left with a hole right here. You can follow my cursor. So what does this mean for the child? For the cleft lip, it's not as bad. You still have some speech problems. You still have trouble creating suction to feed whenever you're young. But for the most part, you could live with a cleft lip for some time. But a cleft palate is pretty difficult to overcome. You need special feeding techniques because the child, anytime you try to give them milk, it'll just shoot out through the nose. So no nutrition from that. They need special bottles. They also have a lot of trouble speaking, very hypernasal voices, which leads to bullying and all other sorts of problems once they start interacting with other people their age. So very important that these two things are resolved at some point. So what is Operation Smile and what does it do to solve this problem? First start off with this beautiful quote by the Operation Smile founder, Dr. Bill McGee. He says, "We believe that love is making somebody else's problem your problem." So what is Operation Smile? So Operation Smile focuses on providing safe, well-timed surgery to people all over the world. Currently, there are 3 billion people who lack access to safe, well-timed surgery. That's a concept that a lot of us aren't really used to. We are exposed to surgery at all points in our life. A child that is born in the US with a cleft, specifically palate, will have upwards of 12 surgeries throughout their life, whereas a child born in India may never receive a surgery. So there's a huge gap in the available care, and that's something the Operation Smile aims to reduce. So what makes Operation Smile special? And before I start, I do want to say that it's not a competition. There's a lot of clubs on campus that are all very important and have important missions, and I encourage you to look into all of those that you can, but also come out to our first meeting, speak with us, and hopefully you'll stick around. So what does make Operation Smile special? I truly believe it's the holistic view they have of the patient. So they could just send a surgeon out with an anesthesiologist and just fix cleft lips and palates all day long. But instead, they decide to invest in each individual patient, and they send a speech pathologist, pediatrician, um, child life specialist, all those sorts of specialties to make sure that that child receives all the care that they need, not just the aesthetic care of patching up the lip. They want to be able to make sure they can speak properly after the surgery and all that. And they do this as well through the global standards of care. So this is kind of like a oh duh kind of type thing, but the first priority of any operation small mission is the patient's safety and comfort. So these standards of care prioritize the equipment layout, team composition, and procedures so that each site throughout the 82 countries that Operation Smile is involved in has the same level of care between all of them. And this is important because there's a lot of international volunteers on all of these medical missions that may not speak the first language as their primary language. So having this set in stone system is important to being able to make sure that they communicate well together and know what to expect. I can speak from experience on my mission. We had medical professionals from 12 different countries, and they all worked together as if they've been working together for 20 years. It was amazing. Another part of prioritizing patient comfort is important as well because each mission features a child life specialist so that they can educate not only the patient themselves, but also the parents on what to expect from surgery, since a lot of the people that come to mission sites don't have that experience that we have with medical setting. Also, Operation Smile is special because they build in-country resources. Again, they could go to different countries all day long and just patch up cleft lips and palates. But what they do special is they invite nurses in training, doctors in training, surgeons in training in the country to come and participate in the mission. That way you're building those in-country resources for future use. Currently, I know of 3 countries that have dedicated cleft centers for Operation Smile that are staffed entirely by local volunteers that went through the credentials of Operation Smile and got that training. So in India, for example, where I went, there's a dedicated cleft center, and they have 2 full-time surgeons that are doing cleft lip and palate repair year-round. So that's a lot more efficient to solving the backlog of all these patients that are born with cleft instead of just going in once a year and doing 200 at a time. That way they can do some each day. And then the last point is the patient is the hero. This is important that the Operation Smile is not a white knight coming in to save these patients. And that's not the slightest bit what's going on. These are all amazing people before their surgery, and they're going to be amazing after their surgery. Without having our knowledge of medicine, I don't think I could willingly give my firstborn child to some random person I've never met and expect them to be safe with my child. But that's what they take that risk. Patients take that risk because they know that Operation Smile is dedicated to their safety and providing them the care that they need. So on to the UNC chapter. What do we do? A lot of it is fundraising, as well as volunteering, networking, and we also have bi-weekly meetings. So our first example, the fun example, is our Songs for Smiles event. This is a benefit concert that we host every fall. We partner with fraternities and sororities, and we raise money for the Exchange for Smiles mission. This is a special mission with Operation Smile that's between Operation Smile Nicaragua and the UNC Dental School. So every year around spring break, they had to move it back this year, but around spring break, they'll spend 2 weeks in Nicaragua doing clinical work with dental students from the UNC Dental School. So our funds, all the funds that we make with this event goes directly to supporting that and making sure that they have enough equipment and materials necessary to provide as much care as they possibly can. So here's a quick little video for what to expect. So one of the goals for this year is to get a professional video made instead of just having to use that iPhone footage. So yeah, if you happen to be part of the club, you can help us with that. So next is a fun event that we do is the Craniofacial Carnival. This is also in the fall, right before the Cleft Palate Gallop 5K, where we invite the patients of the Craniofacial Center at UNC to come out, have a fun time with carnival games, and we send members to volunteer and staff those stations. So this year there was a bouncy castle. We had face painting that the kids really enjoyed, and we also had candy apple stations. Also pictured is a partnership with Moments of Magic. It's another good organization on campus that sends volunteers dressed as Disney princesses out and gives the kids a fun time with that. And then sad moment because we had a dog show planned this year as the first one ever at the Cleft Palate Gallop, which is you can see on screen. We met this dog. His name is Bo, and as you can see, very subtly, he has a cleft lip. So this inspired us to do a dog show with featuring Bo, but unfortunately, we had to cancel that. We were hoping to get that squared next year and have it work out in the spring. All right, so here's moving on to opportunities for members. First is Step Up. This is an international leadership conference with Operation Smile that helps you meet other students who are in Operation Smile clubs across the campus, across the US and international. There were 40 universities represented at this year's conference, and this is a good skill building, networking, and leadership opportunity for any student who's interested. And lastly, the big one is the UVoice program. Now, this is the program that I was talking about when I said I went to India. You go on a medical mission as a volunteer, and you are a storyteller. So you interact with patients, their families, volunteers, and you write stories about your experiences and their experiences. So this is important information that can be used by the organization in email campaigns, social media campaigns, newsletters, and field updates and reports to donors. So these help secure donations to ensure that Operation Smile constantly has funds to go out and do these medical missions. I can't promise that all of you will be able to go on a medical mission. It's a competitive program, but this year, before the coronavirus, we had 3 people scheduled to go out on missions. It's including myself. I actually was in India the week before everything went crazy. So I barely got back in country by the time that everything was getting shut down. So luckily I got mine fit in. Hopefully they'll get theirs rescheduled. But yeah, that is an opportunity that's open to everyone. We encourage you to apply if you do choose to come out to our club. It's a very good experience. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll put my information at the end and I can tell you about my experiences with that program. Next, we have networking opportunities. So we host bi-weekly meetings in the union on campus, and we have speakers come in. This year, we heard from Dennis, shown here, that works at the Craniofacial Center, and he provided shadowing opportunities for anyone who chose to pursue dentistry. We also had speech language pathologists come in, talk about that. We had the founder of Brand Fuel come in, so a little business aspect. We try to keep these outside of just the medical field. We like to incorporate everything in it because Operation Smile is an organization that has so many disciplines involved. So yeah, this is a great opportunity to expand not only involvement with Operation Smile, but also provide network opportunities for yourself, for shadowing and all that. And second, what we like to do is we like to have some of the older students in the club tutor other younger students. For the most part, we're all pre-dental and pre-med. So anyone with any science troubles, we got you. We can always spare a few people to come out and try to tutor when they can. We also all have been through class registration. I know you guys are probably going through that this summer. It can be a pain, but we like to help out our younger members with recommendations with teachers, classes, when to take them, and all that. So yeah, that can definitely help you out with your navigation of your college experience. So thank you for listening. I have a little extra credit assignment for all of you. There's 2 video recommendations that I have on YouTube. If you just type in these URLs or these titles in the YouTube. This video will pull your heartstrings a lot. It's the video we show at the beginning of our interest meeting, and there's never a dry eye in the room. And this video gives you a little bit more of explanation about what is a cleft, how it forms in a way that a medical professional would describe it instead of just me. So yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Here's the email. And yeah, we hope to see you this fall. Thank you.